As I scroll through the gallery, it is good to see you all. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. It is always great to see so many people zooming in from so many different places from all over the country and all over the world, and especially this week from New Jersey. So hello, Rabbi Sissenwein, wherever you are. We hope that you are enjoying your time with your family. Of course, Zoom is a wonderful way to see everyone, but of course we can't talk together. We can only speak one at a time. And so let's just greet our neighbors above, on the side, below, either with a heart tap as we do each week, with a wave, and let us bring in Shabbat with some music and song. Enter.
Thank you, Cantor. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is good to see you. As Rabbi Sherman mentioned, we hope that you have placed your screen in gallery mode so that you can see as much of the community that has gathered with us this evening as possible. And looking across the screen each week, it seems seemingly random to me which arrangement of you are on my screen. I don't know if you know, it's interesting that each one of us has a different arrangement of community members on our screen, of course, except for the speakers, the leaders who appear at the top. So I ask myself, why is it that this week I get to be with this folks and this week I get to be with these folks? For example, tonight I see Mimi Burstein on my screen. Shabbat Shalom, Mimi. And I see Karen Kaplan. Shabbat Shalom, Karen. I see Kathy Spear. Shabbat Shalom. And many of you are seeing different community members across your screen as well. So I actually would like to think this is purposeful, for perhaps these are the people that I am supposed to seek out and connect with this Shabbat and in the week ahead. So I'm going to encourage you to take either a mental snapshot, a screenshot, or maybe write a name down of someone that you see in your gallery. And it is really wonderful that we are all wearing name tags as well. So you might be able to seek someone out and reach someone, I hope, for a connection this week. And I will mention that Rabbi Sissimine last week in his introduction to our Shabbat service brought up this notion of a mensch of the week. And last week he named Julian Edelman as the mensch of the week, who reached out across perhaps the line to create a pathway of shalom. This week, just actually a few hours ago, we received a note from a congregant who wanted to nominate a TBE Mensch of the Week. And perhaps it's purposeful that the person she nominated first was our own Susan Karen, who is always reaching out to connect with someone. So I'm going to use Susan as our model this week and encourage any of you who receive a gesture of love or caring from a congregant in the week ahead to nominate them for a Mensch of the Week. And may we all be Mensches of the Week as we welcome a new week together. So let us join together as we bring in Shabbat as one community. I will invite you to pull forward your Shabbat candles to light them with us as I do so.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. As we welcome Shabbat, I want to honor this unique moment in time. This week, we end a book of Torah. We finished the book of Numbers, from which Rabbi Sherman will teach us later. And we start at the end of a Shabbat, a new book of Deuteronomy. And there is a Jewish tradition of ending on a positive note. We call that a nechemta, an uplift or something comforting. And I believe the same should be true as we end the week and welcome Shabbat. We must enter Shabbat on a high note. For me, when I reach this point every week, light the candles, I think to myself, especially at this time, wow, I've made it through another week. And that in and of itself is something to be celebrated. So as we welcome the angels, the messengers of Shabbat, let us all think of our own nechemta, the accomplishments, the high moments of this week that we want to carry with us into Shabbat. And let us rest with this sense of huge accomplishment. With a deep breath, we feel we have made it. We have arrived. Let's continue.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai lai lai yai, ya la lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai, yai lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, ya la lai, yai lai, ya la lai, yai lai, yai lai lai lai.
Let us continue to receive Shabbat in celebration, in anticipation, as if Shabbat is a bride processing in to greet us. Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet, v'li tehila, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela, likrat Shabbat, לכוון אלך, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, בני שבת, הקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי,
invite you to rise and face the entrance or the door if you are able, as we welcome this Shabbat vibe, if not in spirit.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, או פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We acknowledge God's love through God's gift of Torah as we continue with the words of Ahavat Olam.
Yai la la, ya la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita. Now we can fill our homes with our own voices. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la la ya la la la. Yai lai 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 lai. I wish I could hear every one of you. Yai lai 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 lai. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
And so, with our country continuing to experience astounding numbers of coronavirus cases, there is a need for prayer, a continued need for prayer and hope. So please join with me in this prayer. We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world. Helpless and confused, we turn to you, seeking comfort, faith, and hope. Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak, our young must take care of our old. Help each one of us to do our part to halt the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of this battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless their efforts, God. Fill our leaders with the wisdom and the courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people, who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us. Grace us with your love. Bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. V'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu L'chaim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
As we enter into our Amidah, the center of our prayer service, I invite you to take a minute of pause, to take a deep breath in, to feel your feet firmly on the ground, whatever you need, to just be present and to welcome in Shabbat together. I invite you to rise, whether in body or in spirit, as we join together for the center of our prayer service. Yananai nai nai, 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 yananai nai nai. Adonai zefatai tiftach. Ufi agi techa. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yananai nai nai, yananai nai nai, yananai nai nai, yananai nai nai, yananai nai nai. Give yourself a few moments of some silent reflection.
as we continue in reflection, let us offer a prayer for our country, for courage, for strength. And so if you will join with me, Holy One of Blessing, grant us the will to stand firm in the face of evil and hostility, not to be silent or afraid, to work diligently and faithfully to banish wickedness from the earth. Holy One of Blessing, grant us the courage and resolve to speak when there is hatred, to act when there is confusion, to join with others in building a world of safety, understanding, and acceptance. Because there is hate, dear God, help us heal our fractured and broken world. Because there is fear, dear God, grant courage and faith to those in need. Because there is pain, dear God, bring healing to the shattered and wounded. Because there is hope, dear God, teach us to be a force for justice and kindness. Because there is love, dear God, help us to be a beacon of light and compassion. As it is written, be strong and let your heart have courage. Depart from evil, do good, seek peace, and pursue it. So let us join together in a prayer for peace.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Amen. Ryan, it is so good to have you with us as our rabbinic intern this year. Thank you for your spirit and your voice as well. So we turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing, whether it is a healing of the body, of the spirit, or of the mind. God forbid, a healing from injustice. We invite you to recall them now as you place their names in our chat so that we may join our prayers together as one community praying for healing, shalom, and wholeness. Let's join together in Mishaberos.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Of course, each week we gather to celebrate the joy in our lives as well, marking these as Shehechianu moments. So I want to lift up first that Carol and Eldon Klingen are celebrating 47 years of marriage. Mazel tov to the two of you. And we would love to hear from the rest of you if you are celebrating a moment of joy or simcha of blessing this week. So let's start with birthdays. If you would make yourself known, if you celebrated another year around the sun this week. Cantor Zell, happy birthday. We are also celebrating Max, who is behind the TBE Services logo. He had a birthday this week as well. So happy birthday to all of you as well. Anyone else, Max? Anyone else who has celebrated an anniversary in this middle of July? Wonderful milestone of love and commitment and partnership. Mazel tov to all of you as well. Anyone who has welcomed a new life into their family? Yes, I see a few. Wonderful. Mazel tov. And finally, anyone who has or is celebrating a milestone of healing, recovery, of health, we want to acknowledge that blessing as well. Eric, wonderful. We're so glad you're doing well. So let us celebrate these blessings that we have not to take for granted as we join together in words of Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. So it's dark, and the bright green and yellow lights flicker on and off and scatter across the flowers and shrubs in the backyard. Leaping from one area to the next, you can see them for a moment, and then suddenly they're gone, only to appear again in a new spot, as if we're seeing them for the very first time. For me, watching fireflies on a warm summer evening evokes many childhood memories. Running around, maybe for you too, running around trying to catch them in a jar, sitting by the lake on a dock, getting bit by a horsefly on said dock, eating a popsicle in the warm summer sun, being at overnight camp. A subtle reminder, of course, of this current reality of a lost summer, or at least a very different one. This week, as I was sitting on my deck, not dock, watching these fireflies in my yard, and I thought about how when they are around, we can fully see them when they are lit up, but that we might miss them when their light goes away. And so on these summer nights, we also find ourselves deep in Jewish time. In our Jewish year cycle, we are currently within the 3 weeks between the 17th of Tammuz and the observance of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. During this time, we remember when the walls of Jerusalem were breached and the destruction of the temple was near. These 3 summer weeks are considered a period of mourning in our tradition, as we remember the destruction of the temple. And so it is interesting that we recall brokenness at a time of year that usually in a pre-COVID world evokes feelings of joy and enjoyment. And so I wonder what this period of Jewish time might illuminate for us set alongside our reality this summer. How do we live in a broken world? How do we live within a viral pandemic taking the lives of hundreds of thousands? A pandemic of racial injustice, a pandemic of health and economic inequality. How do we move forward when we have been awakened to so much brokenness? And how will we live with and within brokenness in so many places all around us? In this week's double parsha, Matot Maseh, Tribes and Journeys, we find the Israelites having finished their 40 years of journeying through the wilderness and arriving at the edge of the promised land. One of the most amazing things about this journey was that the Israelites carried the Ark of the Covenant everywhere they went, through each and every year along their meandering in the wilderness. Now, why is this important? The Ark has within it our sacred covenant, which is manifest in 2 tablets. But what is truly extraordinary is that within the Ark were not only the complete tablets, but also the broken ones. The ones that Moses threw to the ground in disgust after witnessing the sin of the golden calf. In other words, true brokenness accompanies the Israelites throughout the wilderness. They do not let their broken past evade them. They carry it forward with them. It is truly present at all times. And of course, the Israelites not only carry this broken history in their sacred ark, they build a dwelling place for God all around it. The brokenness lives within the Holy of Holies. Brokenness lives in the center of our sacred communal home, which comes to teach us that it is impossible to ignore the broken parts of our world. And when we do, we risk missing out on the divine presence dwelling in our midst. For if we cannot see or be woke to the fullness of our covenant with humanity, we also miss noticing the sacred in our world. In other words, if we see one light of the firefly and then look away, we don't see the array of light calling out to us. Now, this is a very Jewish idea. As a people, we believe in a duality of purpose, living in the present moment and never forgetting our past. It is the ethos of the Jewish people to at once live within brokenness, but work towards wholeness. One way we acknowledge broken pieces we have carried is by recalling the journeys we took to this moment. In our Parsha, Moses lists all the places that the Israelites encamped on their journey, all 42 stopping points, which teaches us that the history of each moment in time is critical for understanding how we arrived at this current time. Rambam Maimonides teaches that this list was not for the sake of the Israelites in that moment, but for the future generations who might deny or minimize parts of the journey. In the time of the Torah, this list keeping was all about making sure people would know what happened and when. And in our day, we are the record keepers and the ones who ensure that future generations know what really happened in this moment, to fully understand the spectrum of brokenness. And only by understanding what's broken can we know where to start building wholeness. There is a teaching in the New Torah commentary near Eor, which says, sometimes shame convinces us to bury our past hurts, the broken pieces within. How can we carry them with love and even elevate our broken pieces to the status of holy? And so, how do we live holy lives, living amidst brokenness? What is our purpose? What is our path? To become aware of our journey is to bring forth and illuminate the brokenness we carry with us, and to work towards sacred learning and making meaning of a broken world. Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl famously taught that human beings survive if we have a sense of meaning and purpose. If we have something to live for, it is far easier to live within brokenness and not succumb to it. We live in this moment by embracing brokenness. I believe we embrace brokenness when we speak out against injustice. We embrace brokenness when we alter and change our worldview, our spending, our influence, and our privilege. We embrace brokenness when we acknowledge the creating and enabling of injustice knowingly and unknowingly. We embrace brokenness when we see where the divine presence in our world has been diminished, and when we actively do something about it. We do this when we allow ourselves to believe that the capacity for goodness, the capacity for sacredness exists even when it's hard to see. And this is why we carry broken tablets, to remind us of where we have been while bringing us closer to God, remembering and learning from our past in order to bring forth understanding and change, which I believe creates sparks of divine light to guide us. And so, why is it that we read this Parsha during these 3 weeks? Perhaps it's because our sages knew this message of remembering is easy to forget. As a Jewish people, we recall our past often, multiple times a day, in fact, in every prayer service. And we are commanded to remember challenging times so that we do not forget our focus in good times. In the dark, there are sparks of light, sometimes fleeting and other times sustaining. But we must notice them. We must learn to hold on to the light, live lives of meaning and purpose with intention and curiosity, with kindness and compassion, which is what we do at TBE, and I hope that we do all in the world all around us. We do this in all of our social justice initiatives. We do this with our caring community. We do this in the Torah that we create together in study and on our own. We do this when we teach our children. And we do this when we come together in prayer. And when we truly notice the broken, we turn our prayer into meaningful action. And so we journey forward. We journey forward into uncertainty, knowing the difficult reality that there is more brokenness ahead. And so in this time, may each of us notice light in the dark, find a purpose, a calling, a light to respond to. For that is what our tradition tells us to do at this moment. May we be, as Hemingway says, strong at the broken places. Or as we finish a book of Torah this Shabbat, in the language of our people, Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek. Be strong, and let us be strengthened. Shabbat Shalom.
I feel all the faint morning light, filled with hope, 'cause you're here in my life, and we've gone from the edge of our souls, made it back to a place we call a home. You see me through. I was alone in the dark, and the fear was my truth. Yeah, all the things that you are, beautifully broken, alive in my heart, and know that you are everything. Let your heart sing, and tonight we'll light up the stars. All that you are. I feel wrong. I'm so human and flawed. I break down even though I'm still strong, and time will make fools of us all. Builds us up and then laughs when we fall. You pull me through. I was alone in the dark, and the fear was my truth. Yeah, all the things that you are, beautifully broken, alive in my heart, and know that you are everything. Let your heart sing, and tonight we'll light up the stars. All that you are. You're the sound of a redemption, the faith that I've lost, the answers I'm seeking, no matter the cost. You opened the window, and now I can see. You taught me forgiveness by giving your love back to me. That you are, beautifully broken, alive in my heart, and know that you are everything. Let your heart sing, and tonight, yeah, all the things that you are, beautifully broken, alive in my heart, and know that you are everything. Let your heart sing, and tonight, let your heart sing, and tonight we light up the stars. All that you are. Oh, I feel all the faint morning light, filled with hope, 'cause you're here in my life.
Thank you, Cantor. Let us continue our service with words of Mourner's Kaddish. And so I want to invite those of you who are in observance of a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, or are in a period of mourning, to rise and place the names of the loved ones you're remembering in the chat box. And this evening on this Shabbat, we remember the deaths in the last 30 days of Michael Buckman, the father of Kimberly Buckman, Jerry Fanger, the father of Alan Fanger, David Goldberg, the brother of Arthur Goldberg, Stephen Ives, the brother of Jane Ives, Edward Levine, the father of Nancy Ostroff, Robert Remus, the father of Rich Remus, and Benjamin Slavitt, the son of Louise Silverman. And so if you are a mourner in our midst, I invite you to rise, and so we can acknowledge your presence as we join together in these sacred words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
It's wonderful to see everyone as we gather back in this place each week, and we sure hope to see you in the week ahead as well. We gather tomorrow for Shabbat with a 10 o'clock Torah study, and we will end Shabbat day, a hot Shabbat day, hopefully outside, as our community joined together for a distance Havdalah service outside in the TBE parking lot. It is required that you register. You can find the link in the e-blast, 6:45 arrival at 7 p.m. beginning Havdalah. And I'll turn it over to Rabbi Sherman for announcements for the week.
Lots of stuff going on this week. On Monday, we continue our study of the history of Israel. And on Monday night, we're having a community forum, which you can find all the information in today's email. Following the community forum, we're going to have a conversation about the film My Polish Honeymoon, speaking about identity and place and home. On Tuesday, we have T-Bell. On Wednesday, we're studying Heschel. There is so much to do. I hope that you will join us. Cantor.
And if I might jump in for just 1 second, registration will be opening soon for our second annual, we're hoping, sing-along, which will be done entirely on Zoom. So if you're missing those good old campfire songs and want to join us, please be sure to check the website, and we'd love to see you on Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Monday, August 3rd.
Great.
Let me just add, for all of our families with children, we have Camp TBE that has launched this summer for the month of July. It is not too late to join us for interest groups, activity boxes, and some summer fun family programs.
Great. So let us continue with Kiddush and Motzi.
So I don't have a Kiddush cup here.
Got it.
But
Peter,
I
lift
can,
it up for you if
if you
will.
can lift up.
So
your
let's
cup,
lift up our Kiddush
we
cups.
can lift our voices together.
Great. I see Richie Stellar has one. There it is.
Thank you. Here we go. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu vacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu. Raise them high. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
L'chaim.
Amen. And let us hold up a challah. Who has a challah or a chalot?
I'm
There
still,
we
I'm still
go.
dreaming of the challah the Shermans
I
made for our
see
wedding.
Lots of
last
them around. Let us join together, Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
So let us say Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Shabbat Shalom. If we can unmute everyone so we can say hello and greet one another with
Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom. Congratulations again, Shabbat.
Oh, thank you.
Hi,
Let's
Andrew.
say it together.
finishing up the temple service here, but it's finished.
Hi, Nava.
Just close my computer now.
Richmond has an awesome hat on.
Hi,
Down for dinner.
family.
Yes.
Little Lazarus. Shabbat shalom.
Watch just keep bouncing around.
They're all eating already.
Enjoy your dinners.
Hi, Carolyn. Bob.
Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Watch along.
Hi, Ronnie.
Everyone.
There they are.
Nice to go.
There they are.
Shalom to everyone. Everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Oren.
Julie.
Rachel.
Alan. Shabbat shalom, Alan.
Here's Julie. Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Hi, bud.
Shabbat shalom, Rachel.
Hi, Ellen. Hi, Ellen.
Shabbat shalom, Warren.
Hi. Bud to a bud. Hi, bud.
Hi, Bonnie.
Shabbat shalom, guys. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Warren, Ella.
Would you like it?
I made me feel better.
Okay, get out. Goodbye already.
Hi, Miskies.
Have Shabbat shalom, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi, Warren. Hi, Ella.
Shabbat shalom. Be well. Have a good week.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
We're good.
Hey, Mary.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
It's Julie.
Hi, Julie. Love you.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Axel Hoffer.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hi, Julie.
How are you? Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Julie.
Hello, Karen and Mark.
Hi, it's Julie. Hi, Debbie.
Shabbat shalom.
All of you.
Shabbat shalom.